Hey, what's going on everyone? So today we're going to be reviewing a new electric scooter. It's a kid's scooter. It's the Gotrax GKS kids electric scooter. Now we couldn't have got this scooter at a more perfect time. We are actually on vacation. Hold on bud. Hey, we're going to go to the water thing first. They did send me this scooter for free to test out and review for all of you, but like I said, it couldn't have came out at a more perfect time and a more perfect test for us to put the test on it through the city and stuff like that, because we are currently on vacation down in Virginia in Williamsburg, and we got this scooter 2 days before we left for vacation, so we were able to take it to Washington, D.C. and tour the city on our highboy scooters, and then he was able to ride this Gotrax, and we did a 5.3 mile trip. Now that's awesome because this scooter is only rated for 4 miles, but because of his size and weight, he was able to get that extra mileage out of it. And another good thing is here at the resort, it is about 0.3 miles, which is a little over a quarter mile to the pool. So we've been riding these scooters all week to the pool, which is awesome. It's pretty far to the mini golf too, which we do every day because my son likes to mini golf. But this little GKS scooter, like I said, even though it only goes 4 miles, it's rated for 4 miles. We've been getting a little bit further out of that. The most we've gotten was 6.3 miles out of it. And that's with his rider weight and size of about 4'1" and about 52 pounds. Now, one thing about this scooter is when the battery starts to die, it is going to start beeping to let you know, and then you'll have about another mile. In our case, because of his size and weight, you'll have about another mile on it, but that's the only way to know when the battery is dying. So we'll go over a little more about the weight ratings on this scooter and everything in my initial video review, which I did back home, and we're going to get into that now. But like I said, they sent me this for free to test out and review. If you guys are interested in checking out this thing, about the pricing or anything, I will leave affiliate links in the description below. And I will make a small profit off that if you guys decide to purchase it at no extra cost to you. Let's go ahead and get into the original review that I did back home. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right guys, so we're over here checking out the Gotrax GKS kids electric scooter. We're over here riding it around. My son's putting it through the test, and we're gonna try to see how far he can go on it today. This is something that we just got in, and it's pretty kid friendly. Go that way, bud.
I know.
It's pretty kid friendly. You have to have both feet on the buttons on the deck for it to be controlled and for it to move. There is no throttle. Now this thing's rated for about 7.5 miles per hour to go up to 4 miles. So we're gonna definitely be testing that. Take your front foot off, bud. So there's a button there, and you can see when you remove your front foot or your back foot. When you remove either foot off one of those buttons, the scooter stops getting power and it slows you down. Now the back fender is a foot brake. So the back fender is the foot brake. There is no hand brakes. Now there is no variable speed throttle, so if you want to vary the speed, you're going to have to pick your foot up and then put it back down on that pedal, because it's not like a regular twist throttle or thumb throttle. But the max speed on this scooter is not very fast at 7.5 miles per hour, so you don't really have to worry too much about your kid getting out of control on it, but you definitely want to still make sure they're wearing their protective gear, especially a helmet. All right, so now we're doing a speed test. We're gonna see how fast he can get it going.
Like around 8 or 8.2 mile per hour.
So this scooter's rated for about 7.5 miles per hour. And I think he got it over 8 miles per hour on level ground here. The battery is fairly charged, so I'm sure that would drop a little bit once it depletes. What was your max speed?
Like 8.5 maybe for a second or something.
So right around 8 holding steady?
Yeah.
7.5 to 8 miles per hour.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty close to the 7.5 rated miles per hour. I think he got it up a little bit over 8 according to the GPS on my phone. So not too bad on level ground. Now going uphill, it is going to slow down a little bit. All right, so now we're going to try up this hill and see if it has enough power to power him up this little hill over here. Go ahead, give it full speed. And it powered him up the hill. Keep going, go through the gravel.
The scooter definitely has enough power to power me up that hill and through a little bit of this gravel.
Powered you up that okay?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's a pretty nice scooter.
Jump off of that. You full speed?
Yeah.
How far you think you're gonna make it? You think you're gonna make it to 4 miles?
Maybe like around 3.5, 2.5 or something.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. We're hoping it gets at least 4. Now they do make another model that's the Pro model that'll get you an extra mile in range. It's rated for 5 miles, and so it has a slightly larger battery. This thing runs on a 25.2 volt battery, and it's rated at 2 amp hours, so just right around 50 watt hours in this battery. All right, now this thing has a 150 watt motor. Now, even though the battery's not super big in this thing, what's nice about it is your kid can still power this thing manually like a regular scooter. And this is with no motor, just him kicking it like a regular scooter. Still getting pretty good speed on it. Still able to have a blast. All right, so we're just over 2.5 miles, and we're gonna see if it still has enough juice to power up this hill. Doesn't seem like it was dying down too much yet. And maybe a little bit slower, but it still had enough power to come up that, no problem.
Whoa. I feel like this thing definitely died down a bunch of power, but it still runs up these little hills.
Yep. All right, guys, so here's the buttons here. There's one in the back and one in the front. You have to have both of those pushed down at the same time, and you have to kickstart the scooter to get it going. So it has to be rolling first. And then when you push those 2 buttons down, it activates the motor and it takes off. So rolling. So it did seem like it died down a little bit there on that incline, but that's pretty steep right there coming up that. Still made it up no problem. Still able to go up through this hill here on this incline, no problem. And that's after 2.5 to 2 3/4 miles. And this is no motor, just kicking like a regular scooter. What fun is that? Definitely no fun. And he kicked the motor in.
No fun, but exercise.
Yeah, got a good point there. I think you're getting exercise even with the motor.
You are on your Varla.
Yeah, I get exercise on my Varla for sure. Trying to hang on. Now this thing on the bottom, it says it's a max rating of 121 pounds. However, on the website, it states, I believe, 140 some pounds max rider weight, so I'm not really sure. I would go with what it says on the scooter at 121 pounds. Now, like I said, they do have a pro model, so maybe that weight limit of the 141 pounds or 140 some pounds is on the pro model. Not 100% sure on that, but just something to be aware of. But for his size and his weight, it's perfect for him. Honestly, he could handle a little bit more power, so I would have gotten him the pro model. I would have spent a little extra money. That way he gets the extra mile in range and is able to go another mile to mile and a half per hour. I think the pro model goes around 9 miles per hour. And this one's 7.5 miles per hour, but he's an advanced rider, and for any normal child that's just getting started on a kick scooter and could ride a normal kick scooter, I would say this is pretty good for them. Now keep in mind, as long as they know how to use the rear foot brake, as long as they know to pick their foot up off and put it on that brake, the scooter is going to slow down, but they have to keep that in mind, and that's the first thing that you should teach them before riding a scooter like this, is that they know to take one of their feet off and put it on that rear fender, because even if they don't push down on the fender, at least that's going to disable the motors and it will slow down gradually by itself. You don't want to just throw your child on here if they're not used to an electric scooter and then, you know, it take off and them get scared and not know what to do because they don't know how to stop it. You want to make sure you teach them to know to take one of their feet off and put it on that back fender to slow down. In my opinion, this thing is pretty nice. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is the rattle in the rear fender. I'm gonna look into that. Maybe something's loose. Maybe the way it bolts on is loose. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it is a little bit of annoyance when you're riding it on a sidewalk that's bumpy or stuff like that, because it rattles a lot. So, all right guys, so we just hit 5 miles on the Gotrax GKS electric scooter, and he's still got some juice. Now keep in mind, his size and weight, he is just over 4'1" and 52 pounds. This thing's rated up to 121 pounds. So if you were a 120 pound rider riding this thing, you might not make it that far, but he made it easily the 4 miles that it's rated for. So I would say the battery life is pretty good according to their ratings on this thing. Now, he was jumping it around, hitting the brake a lot, going up and down those hills, testing it over that jump and everything. So he was putting a pretty good beating on it as far as everyday riding. So it wasn't just fully on level ground. Now, if you were constantly going up hills on this thing or rough terrain, it's definitely going to put a hurting in the miles, but for the most part, I think it's going to do pretty good for what it is. And if it were me though, I would spend the extra $30 or $40 and get the one that has the little bit longer range of an extra mile. If you get the Pro model, it has an extra mile in range, and also a little bit faster at around 9 miles per hour, I think it said it was. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them, and I will see you all around on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.